November 8th, 2023. This hearing is held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth. An act relative to the protection of the wetlands is most recently amended. Notice of the time and place of this hearing was published in the Fairhaven Neighborhood News on November 2nd, 2023. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. Well, before we get to the agenda, I figure I'll just let, is anybody here for the stormwater, the Hayes Street?
Yes.
Garfield, I guess what happened was the butters weren't notified properly. There was an abutter that wasn't notified, so we're gonna continue it to the next meeting, and the next meeting
28th.
is November 28th. Nope, no, 29th, 6 o'clock here on the 29th. Don't wanna
We
waste your
just found
time.
that out today, because I know somebody had called the office, and I told them it was gonna be, was still on, and okay, I didn't, and I didn't know at that time, it was
I
still on.
mean, you guys are
We only
welcome to
got
stay
this
if you want,
afternoon.
but we're not gonna discuss the project. Don't worry.
No, it's a Wednesday, Wednesday the 29th.
We didn't know till 3:30.
Yeah, it was like really late in the day, and I didn't know who called either, so, but we didn't know. And so we couldn't figure it out.
We get ready to bring it. I missed the town meeting too. The 27th, 26th.
All right, so, first order of business minutes. August 23rd, 2023, review of matter presented, votes to be taken. We go over,
Yep. I thought they were okay.
thought there
So
was
now you make a motion, we accept them as submitted.
a motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. All right, new business. Order of conditions, extension request, White's Farm, Inc., Park Drive, map 17, lot 22B, dot 13, SE file number 0010553. Applicant Sarah Hussein. A request for an extension to an existing order of conditions, file number SE 0010553, for property located at Park Drive, map 17, lot 22B, dot 13. The applicant proposes to install a solar photovoltaic array consisting of 4,999 kilowatts and battery storage project within a 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Oh, not Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jesse O'Donnell. I'm a project engineer with Weston and Sampson, representing the project applicant tonight, Sincarfa Capital. And as the chair mentioned, this is for a proposed extension request for the existing order of conditions, which was issued in 2021 for the solar development. We're requesting a 2-year extension to that existing order of conditions. The original plan was for construction to begin soon after the 2021 order of conditions was issued, but I think as we might recall, due to the disputes that were raised by project abutters regarding the proposed site access back in 2021, we had sought alternative methods to access the site, and we landed on the Lambert Street driveway, which has been approved locally. And in approving that portion of the site with the amended access, we have triggered 2 additional state-level permits and 1 additional federal-level permit. The 2 state permits are with the NEPA office and the Mass DEP, and the federal permit is with the Army Corps of Engineers. Those 3 permitting processes are ongoing. Weston and Sampson is actively assisting the project applicant to work through those permitting processes. The NEPA application has been submitted and is ongoing, and the other 2 will be going in soon. So they're active processes. And we respectfully request a 2-year extension so that we can see through those processes and any prospective approvals that we're looking for, and then the construction process that would ensue after that.
Okay. Any, well, we did a site visit on Saturday, and my biggest thing was we walked everywhere south of the power lines and checked all the wetland delineations, and I was trying to identify the wetland flags, and I really couldn't do it. There was total, I mean, I don't know, I didn't count the flags, but out of all the flags that I did see, there was 3 that we could identify, and we were searching, And then if, I was looking for 2 in a row that you could identify to see the line, but that wasn't possible. So that was my big take from the site visit. I don't know if what you guys
Well,
saw.
yeah, it was very difficult to determine what
And they were all,
any of the outlines were on that project.
I found older ones
Yeah.
before I found the new ones.
Right. So that was a major concern for me at the site visit.
Since I wasn't here before, I had another question. With the new driveway, was that currently going through a wetland last time, or is, because now it's going right through, right? And they have to do,
That's a second.
Yeah, it's a
filing.
separate filing.
Yeah. That was an afterthought. That's a separate notice of intent for that entrance.
Right.
okay.
They
Access.
intended on using Brooks, but
Yeah.
couldn't use Brooks, so they applied for a separate filing at
Lambert.
Lambert,
Which triggered all the things that.
which
Yeah,
triggered the
that's
meat
what he
burr
was
and
just
some
saying.
of that.
Right.
But there's some other issues if you wanna get there, other than the flags,
Yeah,
we-
go for it.
if I can.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
So, we had talked earlier in the Lambert Street about the fact that the main solar field had been recently delineated as priority habitat. And Rob had said that it was exempt because it had been after the notice of intent was issued. We spoke to the circuit rider for DEP, and because the order of conditions is expiring, that's a new condition, and that's gonna have to be dealt with for the main solar field part now, for natural heritage for us. And the fact that the flags are missing and can't be read is another new issue with that. And then I recently took the soil evaluators class and passed it. And I brought up the UCAL soil maps here. And as I went through the soil maps, I found that the soils really are bad across the bulk of this project. And that in most places, it's hydric soils for a very, very large part of this. And I'm on that 73A part right there. And these are Whitman soils. And if you go down into the soil suitability ratings and go to engineering, so I can make this a little bigger. It says that for shallow excavations, the suitability is very limited. So that concerns me about the basins, whether or not the basins are gonna infiltrate. And it says for deep infiltration basins, severely limited. And then ground-based solar arrays, ballast anchor systems, very limited. And for ground-based solar arrays, soil-based anchor systems, very limited. Shallow infiltration systems, severely limited. That's a big issue, and I think that needs to be addressed, and that there needs to be some, you need to get a soil evaluator to find seasonal high groundwater for your basins and other things. And I really think you need to address all the different types of soils in that area. You have 4 different soil groups, and all of them are contrary to what this project wants to do. They really are. And I would have never thought to look at this if I hadn't taken the course and been exposed to all of this. And it's a pretty serious issue. And then if you go to, I lost it. So the biomap.
Yeah.
The biomap. The entire site is set up as core habitat. I think it all needs to be addressed in the environmental impact report and that stuff with MEFR. I think that all needs to be addressed for your, whatever your corrective actions may be, or your alternatives, or any of that. But it's really not suited looking at the soil maps. And I know the soil maps aren't 100%, on the button, But we had to do 35 soil pits all over the state, and it's very, very close to what it says. So it's my advice that the commission doesn't extend this, and that a new notice of intent gets filed, and all of these things get investigated and explained. The amount of organic material on this site, according to the soil maps, is like 10 inches thick. And then the A layer, your loam, is another 10 inches thick. So that's 20 inches of infiltration you'd be peeling off of 34 acres. And this stormwater review was done back in the planning board by a company that farmed it out, and I don't know how well that was really vetted, and if any of this was ever looked into. And I can't find anywhere where any evaluations were done of the ability to the basins to infiltrate.
Yeah, so those are good points, and I think to your point about the mapping, we utilize the National Resource Conservation Service maps, the NRCS maps,
Yeah.
when we do our stormwater design. And to your point, the soils in the site are poor, so there's a lot of C and D soils, meaning there's not a lot of hydraulic conductivity, water filters through really slowly, the infiltration rates are really low. So when we designed our stormwater design, the infiltration rate that we assumed at the footprint, at the base of all those basins proposed on site was minimal, if not nothing. So the basins are primarily acting as detention basins to hold back water so that the peak flows to the discharge points off site are lower than existing conditions. So we're proposing to make the basins large enough to meet that standard, which is standard 2 of the Mass Stormwater Handbook.
Well,
The town doesn't allow detention basins, right?
right, we don't allow wet basins. They have to drain within 72 hours. It's in our bylaw. And then the other side of that is the fact that groundwater in some cases is only 18 inches to 36 inches down.
Like
Estimated groundwater, based on the NRCS stuff. I just think this didn't get a very good look back in 2020 during COVID. This was done, remotely. It turned out that the Conservation Commission didn't even have a full set of plans in our office when this got approved. And when the sidewalk was done in 2020, there was snow on the ground. You really couldn't see anything. I'm told there was like a foot of snow. So, just to cut to the chase, it's my recommendation to the commission that they deny the extension and require new filing so that we can address all of these issues and make sure that we're doing the right thing. This is a major watershed for the town of Acushnet.
I got a question. When they did the wetland flagging, she must have augured, no?
Sorry,
Did she auger when she tested for the wetlands, or did she just go on vegetation?
Did she auger?
Yeah.
Sorry, what does that word mean in this context?
That's,
Drilling.
huh? It's a
Drilling.
tool. It's
Drilling.
It's like a
Like a
drilling,
drilling
and you
auger?
come down
Yeah.
and then you pull it out, and it tells you the sample that you
Right.
like exactly
Right.
what he's trying to come at.
Yep.
So like the colorations of the soils will be different between like he's explaining through paper. And technically for it to be a wetland, within 15 inches, if it's a certain color, I was just wondering, did she go through that, or did she go around and say, oh, that plant life looks like a wetland plant life, because you got upland ferns and you got wetland ferns? And it gets all complicated, so like what Pat was saying, I want to know if it's really what it's saying, or did you
So-
guys, what kind of testing
So at
did
the
you
time
do?
this was done, the commission didn't require any of the field reports or field notes for the delineations. In the last
So we have no
maybe
clue.
year, so we don't have any of that information. Some of these are done solely on vegetation, and some of them done solely on,
Well, you can't,
correct, and that's another reason, just to take a really good look at this. This is a very sensitive area. It's mapped as an entire ecoregion in the biomap system. This is what everybody has been saying for all of these years, and it may not be an appropriate place for
And,
a 7 megawatt solar field.
Yeah.
It may wind up being
is there
smaller.
is there any turtle habitats in that area?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 You wouldn't happen to have nothing showing how much of that area we have?
The whole thing's priority habitat.
I think this would be a huge impact on the town if this project was to get underway. We walked a good 2 hours, miles of walking back there, searching. There was a lot of surface water, very deep. We were all wearing boots. We trudged through it, searching for those flags. There is a lot of habitat out there. I think if we would have wiped this large amount of acreage out, it would be a huge impact to this town. And I can say honestly and openly and upfront, I'm not for this, to see this happen. This amount of acreage to be wiped out.
Understood.
There's another part of the soil maps. It's not suitable for logging, it's not suitable for skidding and mechanical land clearing. You know, the 10-inch organic layer, an old layer, that's a lot of organics. It is, and one of the soil groups is muck. I forget which one it was. But
That's because it's clay underneath the loam.
and the loom can't leave the job. There's an estimated, 10 inches of loom across the whole site, be using that to reestablish vegetation. But there's a lot to look at here that absolutely didn't get looked at when this was first done. I think the town was overwhelmed with applications for solar fields, and the planning board kind of cruised through them, and the conservation agent kind of cruised through them and just thought everything was okay. And it's not. So here's the ecoregion right here. That's Lambert Street.
Lambert.
That street you see there?
Yep.
All right, so let me shrink it down now. Core habitat identifies key areas to ensure the long-term persistence of rare species, exemplary natural communities, and intact ecosystems across the Commonwealth. So that's what this map is.
So-
and it goes all the way to Peckham Road.
But did you guys put the permit in through the habitat?
Natural heritage.
But only for
The natural
Lambert Street.
heritage?
Only for Lambert Street.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, just for the access.
This wasn't mapped back in 2020. This has been recently mapped by Natural Heritage and the biomap. Those were all done in 2022. So this is new information. And we gave you a form from, we contacted the DEP circuit rider, and it talks about extensions of orders of conditions and reasons to deny orders of conditions. And number 2 is where new information not available at the time of the order is issued has become available, it indicates that the order is not adequate to protect the interests identified. And I really have to say, without even hesitation, there's been enough new information identified that what was approved wouldn't be protective of the interests of the act. And that's only one of the reasons. Another reason is no work has begun. No work has begun. If the flags aren't identifiable, they're not identifiable. They're only good for 3 years. After that, they expire. Just too many things here to just issue an extension. And
If
that's
I
all I
may.
have to say.
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I just walk through a few of the items
Yeah.
and some of our thoughts and
That's why you're here.
Yeah, go. So, all right, let me just piece these together. So the first one, the flags not being easily identifiable on the site, we can certainly rehang flags based on the delineation. We could certainly do that because it is important to get those flags visible on the site. With respect to natural heritage with this species on the site, Natural Heritage did review the project with respect to the Lambert Street application earlier this summer. They issued a no-take to the eastern box turtle, which is the species that was identified on the site, subject to the preparation of a turtle protection plan by a qualified wildlife scientist and for the review of the Conservation Commission. So we would be expecting to proceed in the event of project approvals to have a qualified wildlife scientist to prepare such a turtle protection plan for all of your review.
Can we address them one at a time?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it doesn't appear to me that the application for Lambert Street discussed the other part of the project. It didn't clearly say that this was part of a 7 megawatt, 9,000 panel, 34 acre land clearing. It really just talked about Lambert Street. And the total protection plan is for Lambert Street. Because they agreed with Rob that because it was mapped after the notice of intent was filed, that it was exempt. But now because the notice of intent is expiring, DEP says it's new information and it does count. You guys had a unofficial meeting with MEPR. It wasn't a scoping session or anything that, and I've done it myself. I'm going to have those meetings. And we talked about a no-take. I don't know that we've gotten any letter from Natural Heritage saying that it's no-take.
We issued that letter as part of one of our prior submittals to the Conservation Commission for the Lambert Street approval that was received on September 27th.
Okay, I haven't seen that. But getting beyond all of that, Natural Heritage, really wasn't aware of, in that filing, the scope and the size of this project. And being at the scoping session that Sincarfa had for the public MEPA process that they had to have, only 2 residents, I guess, knew about it and attended. I attended myself because a resident came to town hall and asked me if I knew about it. And there was a discussion there about the environmental justice neighborhoods and all of these other things. And there was a lot of discussion about the land clearing. And it came out that there's 19 acres of solar field panels, but there's also 34 acres of trees being cleared. It's excessive. It is. It's just excessive looking at all the information and my new knowledge about the soil maps and all of that. I think this got approved on a large scale because no one really had the knowledge in town to question anything. And I'm really thinking that this needs an official look, an informed look, and it needs to go through all of the process. And I don't even think that a single EIR works here. I think that this would be a draft environmental impact report. Is it an expanded ENF or just?
An expanded ENF.
Because you want the single.
Yeah, we had a scoping session with, I think her name was Jennifer with the MEPA office several months back at the onset of the MEPA process. And she had recommended the single EIR, the expanded ENF followed by the single EIR for the MEPA scope.
But when the commission approved Lambert Street, Sincarfa was supposed to share all of that information with us and let us know when there were going to be meetings and things that we could comment on. So if there was a scoping session with MEPA to discuss the expanded ENF on that, we should have known about that.
I think that was in June, actually, before any approval or conditions were
Well,
issued.
it would have been nice to know that they did that. They should have been a little more forthcoming and telling us that they've already been in to see them. And I just think that there's way too many issues here to just not peel back the onion and look at. But, sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. So a few questions. So in the event of, hypothetically, a future, say, extension of an order of conditions or something of the sort, if we were to expand the condition that the eastern box turtle, the turtle protection plan that would be prepared would be in the scope of the entirety of the site and not just, say, a portion of Lambert Street, would that kind of help your concerns regarding the species on site?
I'd like to see someone on behalf of the commission to go out and see this. We're not specialists, we're not scientists. I had talked to the chairman about this a few days ago about having our engineer, our wetlands engineer, go out and look at this on behalf of the town and give us an opinion.
Under influence, every project has to do that if it's in there, no? Not just a section, if it's in the habitat, it has to go through it.
It depends how you go about this. So you can go in and you need to remember that politics come into play with these projects. Even though DEP and everybody says that they don't deal in politics, they do, because I did this. And I had a lobbyist. And I had meetings at Natural Heritage, and I got to meet with the director of Natural Heritage. I got to meet with the commissioner of DEP for a cup of coffee in Shrewsbury. I got to do all of those things. And things can be, moved along and this is I'm gonna say it again, this is a major watershed for the town of Acushnet, this and Deep Brook. And this absolutely needs to be dissected and bisected and spelled out, because you don't wanna have an I told you so from all the people that get flooded out, and stop seeing the turtles in their yards, and stop seeing the salamanders in their yards, and stop seeing the crayfish in their yards, and all of these things.
I really just want to see more soil samples and have some evidence here. I have nothing
Well, we'll
to
see
go
those
with.
when they file their new notice of intent, if that's the way you elect to go.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there may be exemptions, that they may pull some exemptions out of their hat on extending this.
Well, yeah, a few thoughts I have on the soils, and then maybe I could get into a few procedural thoughts, if I may. With the soils on site, a common workflow is to require test pits within the footprint of each of the stormwater basins prior to construction to confirm what the quality of the soil is, where the groundwater is. And should any sort of redesign of the basins be required after the test pit data comes out, then a redesign would happen. So if there is any future condition that could be placed into some sort of approval or extension, that's something that, you know, we could entertain to make sure that the basins perform as anticipated.
So, I wasn't on the commission then, but the commission did this at Wing Lane. And Wing Lane didn't do the infiltration test.
We didn't have stormwater then.
It was still the,
That was still.
but we wound up with it
Yeah.
at the tail end. And
Right.
everything was in groundwater and everything was bad. It all needs to be known ahead of time, fully disclosed. The public needs to be able to comment on it. There's been a lot of interest from the residents in the neighborhoods.
Can I just tell you something? I think with the circuit rider, did he say that we cannot put conditions on an extension?
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's a good point, Joanne. Circuit Rider told us that we cannot put conditions on an extension, that you have to deny, because that's the only way you can put new
Right.
conditions is with a new
Right.
With a new
order of
Yeah.
conditions. Thank you, Joanne.
And I think to get it clear, almost 2 acres throughout the whole, if they're only using 19 and you said what, they're clearing 30?
34.
34 for
That's
shade.
like 2 acres throughout the whole outskirt of, like, every,
And keep in
on
mind,
every acre.
and everybody that proposes a project, proposes the project as big as they can. And I did the same thing. If I wanted to
Yeah.
bring 5 million yards into a landfill from the Big Dig, I would apply for a permit for 10 million. And maybe get 4 or 5 million. They threw it all down because the town did, and this happened everywhere. It's not just them, it's not just in Carver. It was every solar field that got permitted, 19 of them. You know, and this got permitted in one meeting by the Conservation Commission.
Great. So,
So, I don't think you have any choice but to deny it if you want to have other conditions and be able to look into all of these things.
One thing I would like to mention is, so from the initial approvals of this project moving forward, we've operated under the 2 orders of conditions, the one for Lambert Street and then the one for the Park Drive development. So with the commission's guidance to operate over the last several months under those 2 existing orders of conditions, I'm wondering if there's a path here where we could work under the procedural method of amending the order of condition pertaining to the project, pertaining to the Park Drive solar project.
There's very few instances when you can amend an order of conditions, because we've been through that too. And the circuit rider discouraged.
yeah, but
But this order's
amending.
gonna expire. This order's gonna expire.
It's not going to
What's
expire.
what's the expiration date on this?
January 5th.
2024.
Yep. It's not told, can't be
We
told.
checked on that.
We checked and Rob Grabowski checked as well.
Perhaps we could continue and see if there is a path towards amending the order of conditions that we've been operating under for the past several months.
I think, like we were just saying, there's no way to change it, right?
I think it's just putting off the inevitable.
Yeah, it's just,
You're
we
gonna
can't
amend
change
it for
it.
two months.
There's so many things that were done wrong. There was snow on the ground.
Interesting,
Yeah,
right?
no, I understand.
All
It's
these
still
things.
gonna expire if
So-
you amend it.
What would we put a motion in for?
We,
You can make a motion to
wanna-
deny the
Yeah.
extension.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so-
and to have them refile a notice of intent with the new order, for new order conditions, and go through all of this.
Is there anybody from the public who has to comment on this?
Kathy Murray.
Kathy, could you come up to the podium, please? Thank you.
Kathy Murray, Lambert Street. This has been going on for a long time now. Been telling people how big of an impact that this project would have. And it was being sold as 22 acres, and at the outreach meeting, then I found out it was 34 acres. 10 acres just because there might be some shade. This is a major watershed. It's an extremely wet area. And this impacts not just the people on that street. There's over 80 abutters to this project. And this town has made mistakes on other one. Can we please get this one right? If this has to happen, I'm really asking you to please start over. Let's go through this the right way, have it peer reviewed, and have, of course, there's going to be an impact, but to have it be the least possible that it can be for the residents of this neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. One second.
Mark Morad, 41 Park Drive. I'm in a butter of Brooks Ave. Since it's a public hearing, I just want to make a public statement that 2 years ago, a lot's changed in 2 years, where Sankofa and Weston Sampson used Brooks Ave to go up and down it to do their flagging and all their research and so on and so forth. But since then, it's pretty clear that Brooks Ave is a paper street owned by the abutters, titled to the center, which is myself. And if you deny the permit and they need access to get back to that property to do work, surveying or whatever it is, that they won't be able to use Brooks Ave. There's no trespassing signs up, and they're not allowed to cross over the first 200 feet off of Park Drive. Thank you.
Noted.
Mr. Chairman, if I could make a motion to not extend this,
Deny the extension.
deny the extension.
Deny the extension.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion?
No.
Without prejudice.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Yeah, there was too many things there that, between the flags and, I mean, the flag line might have changed in your favor, who knows? But I think all this needs to get looked at. It didn't go through Natural Heritage the first time. And that's just my thoughts on it. I'm not against the project. I'm not against telling anybody what they can and can't do with their land. But there's too much
variables there.
potential impacts in this to not have another look at it.
Unforeseen.
And in a better order of conditions. Now that we know, the new information that we got. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I was finding
I
old
agree.
flags that were like way higher than new flags. It was it was all off.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it needs to be a little more concise with what we're looking at.
Right.
And a lot of this will play into the MEPA process too now, and that's important. So,
Have a nice night, everyone.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Next order of business, public hearing. Notice of intent, Andrew and Ariana Gross, Trips Way, map 8 portion of lots 25, 25E, 25F, SC file number 0010589. A notice of intent was filed by Andrew and Ariana Gomes for property located at Trips Way, map 8, portion of lots 25, 25E, and 25F. Subdivision Lot 2, the applicant proposes to construct a single-family dwelling, in-ground swimming pool, a driveway, installation of a well septic system, and underground utilities, fill and
Blue one.
grading within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by David Davignon of Schneider Davignon Leon. Plan name is Sewage Disposal System Site Plan dated October 24th, 2023, revised October 31st, 2023. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Mr. Davignon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, commission members. For the record, Dave Davignon.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't you need
is there a
to?
motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Davignon, the floor is yours.
For the record, Dave Davignon, Schneider Davignon, and Ewing, represent the owners of the property. This property is located on Trips Way. It is the third and final lot as part of a 4-lot subdivision, one lot being the owner of the development who lives there, Mr. Francois. You have seen when approved the lot across the street and the lot before you get to this property. I've highlighted on the plan what we're proposing. We have a wetland line that was delineated under the subdivision that was permitted. You'll see the green line parallel to that is a 100-foot buffer zone from that line. You'll see that a majority of the house, which is highlighted in yellow, is outside the buffer zone. There's a small piece within the buffer zone. They're proposing a in-ground swimming pool, which does fall within the buffer zone. I believe the closest point of the pool is 54 feet from the wetlands. We're proposing 25-foot no activity zone. That's the darker green that you see parallel to the wetland line. We're also proposing not to clear cut the upland area, leaving a buffer zone of vegetation from the abutter to the north abutter as well as the south abutter, so they have screening upon completion of the project. It is a 5-bedroom home that's proposed, which is why the leaching field looks a little large. Typically, we're doing 3 or 4 bedrooms. This one's 5. The leaching area is largely outside of the buffer zone. There is a very small portion, I think about 5 feet of leaching field actually, that falls within the 100-foot buffer zone. The town of Acushnet has a 75-foot setback, and the DEP regulations require 50 feet. So 90 versus 50, it's substantially greater. The drive will be outside the buffer zone. Like I said, majority of the septic system, majority of the fill will be outside the buffer zone. This will be a walkout basement so that we minimize fill in the backyard, which is the activity within the buffer zone. There's a retaining wall proposed to the south of the house to retain the fill so we don't have to continue filling in the back. The pool will be more or less just slightly above existing ground. It matches grade at its northwest corner, and then we just obviously have to level it off. Roof runoff is proposed for the front and the back roof leaders as required by the subdivision approval of the property. There will be a well installed to the north of the house. That's outside the buffer zone. The water line from that to the house is outside the buffer zone. The pool discharge, we're swinging it up as far as we can get it realistically away from the wetlands, so I think the discharge is about 95 feet from the wetlands. This property does fall within natural heritage. We received a letter today.
We got it.
And they had reviewed this entire development. When we proposed the subdivision, we showed conceptual houses similar to what we approved at a later date. And they did a MISA, it was a MISA filing for the subdivision. So basically we're required to send any new changes to the plans to Natural Heritage to get their sign off, and we were fortunate to get the letter today. So we have a DEP file number. There were no comments. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody any questions?
That was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that the grading wasn't gonna change, because we missed you on Saturday.
Yes, I apologize.
Yeah.
I forget. I don't do a lot of Saturday on-sites. They're on some commissions used to do them, some don't, most of them don't. They go during the week,
Right.
when they can fit it in, so I don't have that requirement a lot, so I tend to forget.
But I overheard a comment of the grade of the site, and if it's not gonna change, then that, it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, we have to build the front up in order to do the septic and the walkout, which has to go with grade, but basically all of the fill will be outside the buffer zone, which is actually ideal. It's a good layout.
How high up is the septic going? Just curious.
Well, finished grade over the leaching field is 89, and the contours are about 84, so it's a 5-foot bump.
Yeah.
Typical.
Yeah.
In the past, Ryan, you guys put conditions on pools.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, just, you know, if you do pump it out, just,
I
let
think in the
pool-
past, Dave, they said they had to wait like 5 days to let the chlorine deteriorate before they pumped it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
If it was a saltwater pool, they were gonna do something else. I don't remember what it was,
Mm.
but
Okay.
if they're just,
As long as you can put it in the conditions,
Yeah.
I'll make the client aware of it.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
that's it.
Yeah, all right, so it's pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to issue a positive order of conditions with the,
Standard order, standard
with
condition.
the standard order of conditions and a special condition about the pool, just, you can look back on what we told with this all. I'm not sure what this all was.
I'll pull that up because it was,
I think it was 2 weeks of like letting it just
Just sit?
sit, yeah.
it was Blackstone Drive, is that where?
I think it was,
Guy you went to school with had a pool? Because you guys put conditions on his pool,
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I'll look up that in a while,
Okay.
I'll send Dave that.
All right, so with the condition that the pool be dechlorinated.
Approximately,
You said it was
Uh,
discharged at 90 feet.
It is, but they
Yeah.
can still abide by the condition. Or
It's
is it
not,
why
it's not a heavy lift.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. All right, so I'll entertain that motion. Positive order of conditions.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
The subdivision itself looks great. Both foundations for the other 2 lots that we looked at were in, and one was getting trusses set when we were there, so in general, that was good. All right, stormwater. Public hearing, should I read it and then continue it?
No, because,
No.
it has to be re-advertised.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, so we'll skip.
It's already,
So we don't have to.
right?
We already scrapped it.
All right,
Hey, you talking
so we'll
about-
re-advertise it for
You good with
November
I'm okay with that,
29th.
I didn't know if, I'm sorry,
Oh.
I didn't know if there were butters here, I could just give a 2-minute explanation.
We told them
Oh,
all what
okay.
happened before.
Sorry,
you
yeah,
got here.
I didn't want to make him sit through the meeting.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed that.
There was like 4
They
people.
understood,
Oh, I saw people on the background. Okay.
Yeah, so,
they understood.
They'll all be re-notified.
Yeah, they gave them the date,
Okay,
and they took a note, and
plan.
Right,
Yeah.
and a new ad, come on, like, get ready, prepared. Be
Sounds
the same
so-
ad.
Sounds the
and
one
I think
bill.
I was sending you that email, as you were sending me your email.
Yes, I saw that, it was crisscrossed. Very good.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Dave. All right, so we'll pass over that. Stormwater bylaw discussion.
So, we need to push that till next week when Kevin comes, to the next meeting.
oh,
when
yeah,
Kevin comes.
right? We need-
Have a legitimate Zoom,
we need,
unless there's something you want to
healthy-
talk about.
No, I just, yeah, that's fine. No, I was just gonna bring that, at town meeting, I spoke briefly with Mark Francois, and just had mentioned that we gotta get together and let's get it done sooner than later.
So Kevin McHugh went to Montreal for 3 days and came home with the flu and COVID. He got the double whammy. But I suggested to him that maybe you, me, and him could have a Zoom meeting one night during the week prior to the meeting, so that you could hear his concerns about the edits that Jamie Kelly made to the bylaw and get a better understanding. It would make our meeting better on the 8th, on the 29th.
Was there gonna be another separate commission or something? What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's not a quorum, so it's my understanding it doesn't have to be a
There could be
public.
3 members of the commission on the meeting. for the quorum.
I'd like to know about it too.
Yeah, Ryan can ask whoever, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll pick somebody else to go, and they're gonna pick two people from the planning board, and we're gonna sit down and hash it out, pretty much. It's not, I don't see much hashing, but there may be some, there'll be discussion from what they got to say and what we got, But I would like a copy of the regulations.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that too.
Yeah, I went to the office and Joanne wasn't there, you weren't, and
I have the proposed regulations in my computer, I'll send those out tomorrow.
yeah, I'd like a copy of the proposed regulations, and
But if we have a Zoom before the meeting with Kevin McHugh, 3 commission members can be on that Zoom.
oh, yeah.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, oh.
I didn't think you were talking, I didn't know.
Oh, no, I was talking about meeting with the planning board.
Yeah.
It was suggested that me and another member of the commission, and then the chairman of the planning board, Mark Francois, and a member of his commission, we're gonna get together
And your agent,
in the agent? Okay, sure.
please, yeah.
Is that
I'm the
gonna be, like,
responsible party
posted
for
as a joint
stormwater on the
meeting?
EPA.
Is that gonna be posted as a
permit.
joint meeting?
It's a subcommittee.
No, it's an internal meeting,
Yeah, an internal.
just like we've been doing
Yeah,
for
it's-
solar
Doesn't
fields
need to
joint.
be-
No, it's not,
No.
no,
No.
because
It's not supposed to be.
there's no quorum,
No.
yeah. So, all right.
When is that Zoom meeting supposed to be? You know yet or no?
Yet to be determined.
When Ryan says he's available,
Right.
I'm available all the time, I have no life, so
What?
I guess,
I just sit home and do research, so
Wow.
you let me know.
yeah.
Be nice.
You don't have to do it today, you don't have to do
No,
it
no,
today.
yeah, all right.
We got 2 weeks to
Before the
figure that
next
out.
meeting,
Before the next,
Well, it's, yeah.
2 weeks.
Well,
all right.
And if I can make a motion, I can make a motion to adjourn, but I can't.
Wow.
No, you can't. All right,
sorry.
agent updates.
I don't have anything until we talk to Kevin McHugh.
Okay. No, that's it? That's it? No agent updates?
Nothing.
Only, I was
Other than
gonna,
the soil
I was gonna tell that I
evaluator
passed the
class.
soil evaluators
Right.
test.
Congratulations.
I'll have my-
Congrats, yeah, very good.
So I can't do soil evaluations until I have my credentials from DEP, and that's gonna take about 3 weeks.
Oh, cool.
I took the last class of the Title V inspectors class Monday, and I'll be taking that test on Wednesday. So then I'll be a licensed Title V inspector and soil evaluator. And I think the Title V stuff will come in handy for some of our stuff too. I learned some things already. So
Yeah, I bet you picked up on it.
it was worth the $800 for the soil
Wow.
evaluator test, I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Where do we stand with credentials? Any updates?
Oh, IDs?
IDs?
I haven't heard back.
I don't,
I did
no, they're
send-
not IDs, they're I don'ts.
I sent an email and I have not got a response.
Crickets.
That's-
Crickets.
I made it.
Surprise, surprise.
So,
Yeah, whatever.
so maybe talk to the chairman of the Board of Selectmen.
They all know us.
I will send it.
If
I will
they
send
don't know us,
the
they'll find out.
chairman of the board of selectmen an email on the IDs.
So this happened to us when I was in Oxford. We went on the site, and the guy, where are you from? And he's got a shotgun in his hand. And we said, we're from the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
You guys are out of your mind, get off my property.
Right?
Yeah.
Bunch of
So-
crackpots.
Okay.
But people are very nervous these days.
Yeah. Understood.
Oy.
All right, future business. Next meeting of the Conservation Commission will be on November 29th, 2023, in the Town Hall Meeting Room. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at